Welcome to this week's session of breathing for stress management. And they're going to be one technique that really encompasses 3 different breaths. The alternate nostril breath, being able to make some sort of little pincher with our hands, whether it's this or this or this, like a hang 10 or something, that we will bring in front of our face to help us close off one nostril. And it can either be alternating the nostrils, going side to side, or just one. If we're moving with the left side, then that's going to be our moon practice. If we're moving with the right side, that's going to be our sun practice. That's the idea. So figuring out first which pincher works best for you. So having your hand open and determining as I go to my face, how does it feel? One of the things that works, sometimes I'll have yoga blocks. Sometimes I'll just have like a throw pillow. And here I have a pillow to put on my lap. So letting yourself have something on your lap so that when you go to put something in front of your face, it feels like it can be held. Instead of having to use your shoulder, your muscles in your neck to hold yourself up, can I just have my elbow rest there so that my hand can comfortably be in front of my face? That's often the first question that we need to ask ourselves. So getting yourself comfortable, and as I said, maybe you get a block or a pillow or a bolster underneath that elbow. And then determine the sort of old-fashioned way to do this is that you let yourself have your ring finger up and your thumb out. The first and second, the first and middle finger come down and the pinky finger tucks under. That takes some hand exercise that we may not have been doing enough of lately to be ready for that. That's okay. All right. If that's what you can do, then that's the idea, to slide that in front of your face. For some people, they'll find just kind of keeping their pinky finger and their thumb open, as long as their pinky finger is strong enough and their thumb doesn't overtake too much. Kind of like a hang 10, right? For others, their head starts to droop. They start to feel a little bit tired. And so it'll be using that middle finger to kind of hold your head up. I know that sounds silly, but you'll stick it right above the bridge of your nose so that as you go side to side, you can kind of hold yourself up. The wall is always there, the chair, right? Letting yourself find. So this one really is, we're either going to be seated up against a wall this way. You could be seated just in a basic cross-legged or meditative pose on the floor, prayer pose, that's perfectly fine. But again, can I keep my head up? And often then the idea will be maybe to get yourself a bolster, a stack of pillows or something like that against the wall. Let yourself put that back. If this was where the wall meets the floor, if I stuck it all the way back and then scooted myself back so that I could sit up and then have the back of my body up against the wall. If I was down on the floor, that would be another option. So whether you're seated, whether you're on the floor or in a chair, or you might want to have some supports behind you. I like to have the wall behind me to rest upon. Okay. So as we bring that pincher into your face, you're going to let yourself take a few deep breaths to prepare. The truth is that a lot of us will get through 2 or 3 rounds of this and realize we need to blow our nose. Very healthy. I'm using this to help you to balance, to realize when your sympathetic nervous system and your parasympathetic nervous system are acting, kind of that right-left brain stuff. Eventually, it'll help you to focus your mind if you feel a little more centered. But this is also prescribed at Mayo for chronic sinusitis, as well as migraines. So there are other purposes that this can be prescribed for. And this isn't prescriptive at all. This is just, hey, let's try this and see how it changes our stress. So when I say to do this, it really should warm up the nostrils and the little hairs inside your nose, start dancing around until you might have to stop and blow your nose. Very normal, okay? So inhale. And exhale. So what we're going to do is we're going to close off that right nostril first. And as you let yourself gently close off your right nostril, it gives you permission to breathe in through the left. Don't I sound funny with one of my nostrils closed off? So take that breath in. And again, decide, do I let my elbow just rest on that support? Do I use my middle finger to hold up my head? Or do I use this elongated stretch with my pinky finger tucked in, or just my pinky finger, okay? So you're closing off that right nostril and breathing in. And then you switch to breathe out. Now you stay here. Now we're creating a rhythm where we exhale and then we inhale. And we switch to exhale Stay there to inhale. Good. Do you feel your shoulders tightening? Do you feel yourself pulling forward? Do you feel your back locking to try and overhold it? Can your elbows soften? Can your heart be broad underneath? We exhale. We inhale. And we switch to exhale. And inhale. So once we're ready to pause, we end where we began. We're going to exhale through that left side. And that would be the end of our round because we started with an inhale. You're ready? Allow yourself to rest. So the round is we inhale through the left, exhale through the right, inhale through the right, exhale through the left. But once we're in the rhythm, it's exhale, inhale, switch nostril. Okay? The main thing to think about is now we've gone through a couple, do you need to pause? Can you get some, right? Can you get something out of your nose? Do you feel like you need to adjust through your elbows? We're warming the mucosal lining, so recognizing that what's happening in your face is normal and it's going to change the way in which your mucus is moving through there. We're working up to 10 rounds. When that feels comfortable, there's no lightheadedness, there's no possibility of fainting, then letting yourself continue to move through that in such a way that you can work up to 5 or 10 minutes worth of practice here. Okay, so if we're beginning with an inhale through the left, that's a more calming practice. If you have a day where you feel that you need to balance both sides, but you're actually feeling too tired or too relaxed, maybe you need to start waking yourself up, activating yourself a little bit more. And you could start with an inhale through the right and exhale through the left. If there are days where balance isn't what we're looking for, we really have been having a day that continues to be off in one way or another, then the best option would be to pick one side or the other. There's either moon breath or sun breath. Yeah. The moon practice begins with an inhale through the left and exhale through the right, and then you go back to do the same. Inhale through the left, exhale through the right. Yeah. Recognizing that the breath itself, when you're inhaling through the left and exhaling through the right, is just to work on that calming sensation, that moon sensation, the parasympathetic sensation. It has been suggested to reduce acidity and irritability, and often is most useful in the nighttime to help you enhance sleep. So let's try that. Let's bring our hand up to our face, close off the right nostril, inhale through the left. Close off the left, exhale through the right. When you're done with your exhale, switch. Inhale through the left. Exhale through the right. And eventually, I'm exaggerating so that you can hear me as well, but eventually our pincher stays pretty close together. Okay? So eventually, our pincher just stays and just gently slides side to side. The last thing to note is if you're having problems with your sinuses or you have something in here, I've had some jaw surgeries where they peel back your face, including your cheeks. And so sometimes I will actually, this other hand, instead of just letting it really passively rest here, I'll have it push in and up into my skull and up just a little bit to get me a little more airflow. Does that make sense? And then if you want to try to let yourself to move into the sun breath is one that's a little more enlightening, a little more activating. And the goal is to to find your sympathetic nervous system, to increase your focus, right? So we think of our sympathetic nervous system as just fight or flight, but it does good things. It helps us with focus. It can bring up our internal heat. It can be used in the morning to enhance alertness. Maybe it just lifts your mood that day. Okay, so that'd be the sun breath, where you'd close off that left nostril, inhale through the right. You ready to exhale? You switch to exhale through the left. You switch, inhale through the right. This is sun breath. Exhale through the left. And again, maybe I'm going to exaggerate with my fingers to get a little more space through that nostril. Inhaling through the right and exhaling through the left. And then switching. That's our sun. That's our more activating. That's our more focused, enhanced breath. My favorite, so I'm introducing all these so that we can find the one that works best for you. And you guys have just found my favorite, and it's alternate nostril breath, because I know that throughout the day, I can have plenty of energy. I don't even need caffeine. I don't drink coffee or anything regularly, but the idea of also then, just having that lull in the afternoon. How do I move past that so that my energy can stay more constant throughout the day? So my intentions, my drive, the work that I want to do for myself and to meet others, right? Where do I want to meet other people? And I want it to be here. Yeah. So, so feel free to join me in the actual practice. Thanks so much. I'm Sadie. Good to see you again. Welcome to alternate nostril breath, working to go across both hemispheres of the brain to balance that right and left hemisphere, to balance the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous systems. How do you prepare for it today? Do you need something to put underneath your elbows, maybe a throw pillow? And you're going to pick your dominant hand. So as you let your dominant hand get ready, pick one of the hang ten or one of the head holding kind of postures that we practiced before to build your little pincher in front of your face. As you draw your shoulders down and back, your heart open, your head as high as you can. We're going to start by closing off the right nostril so that you can breathe in through the left. Good. Relax your elbow. We switch to exhale. Letting yourself be in a comfortable seat as we just go through the first two rounds. Stay there to inhale. Switch to exhale. And we inhale. That becomes the rhythm. Exhale. Inhale. Switch. Exhale. Once you've got yourself warmed up, warming those mucosal linings, you need to pause to blow your nose. Doesn't sound cool, but it is cool to let yourself move anything that's an obstacle. Move congestion, move up that warmth, allow yourself that full breath capacity. As again, we get those pinchers in front of us with our shoulders relaxed and our heart held high. Exhale through the left, inhale through the left, closing off that right nostril. Switch to exhale. Stay there to inhale. Switch to exhale. And you close your eyes and let your inner gaze lift up to the top of your forehead as you inhale to it. Switch to exhale as you slow your breath down. Inhale, again, Both eyes closed, but looking upward if you can. We switch to exhale. Stay there to inhale. Continue. Switch to exhale. And inhale. Trying to have your inhale and exhale be about the same length. Switch to exhale. Letting yourself open your neck, hold your head high. Inhale. Switch. Exhale. Inhale. Switch. If you know someone who's new to this, or they've just had surgery or an injury, maybe you're in public, you don't feel like you can put your pincher in front of your face, this practice can be done mentally. Imagine the breath moving in through that left nostril, switching to exhale through the right nostril. Inhale. Switch to exhale. Focus your mind as you lift that inner gaze higher. As you release yourself from distractions, just focusing on that rhythm. Exhale and inhale, the switch. And exhale, inhale, continue. Trust your seat, relax down into it so that you can open your face to your hand. Alternate nostril breath can be done for up to 10 minutes. We're first just doing those 10 rounds and realizing, do we feel too lightheaded? Do we feel too disconnected? Do we feel too overstimulated or too sleepy? Is it balancing what's happening with our abdominal digestion, or is it throwing it off a bit? It should bring you back into center a little bit more. So practice, starting with just those experimental visualizations maybe, and then moving into 10 rounds, eventually working your way up further. I'm Sadie. Welcome to Alternate Nostril Breath, and I hope it becomes a regular part of your day. Thank you.